A numberful Wednesday, students! Join me as we learn how to count, solve, and enjoy math. This is Teacher Tin, and welcome to our class. Have you ever wondered how an architect constructs a wheelchair ramp? How about stairs and roads? One of the factors that should be taken into consideration when constructing these is a slope. For today's session, we will talk about finding the slope and the y-intercept in a linear equation. Are you ready, students? Come on and let's begin our numberful journey. As we learn how to solve problems involving linear equations, we will answer these two questions. First, what is the slope-intercept form of a linear equation? Second, how can we find the slope and the y-intercept of a line? Ready to get started? Let's go!
Take a look at this. To graph the equation of a line, we plot at least 2 points whose coordinates satisfy the equation, and then connect the points with a line. We call these equations linear because the graph of these equations is a straight line.
The equation of a straight line can be written in many ways. One of which is the slope-intercept form, which tells us that the equation of a line with y-intercept 0b and with slope m can be written as y equals mx plus b.
Given the slope-intercept form of the line, we can find what the slope is. A slope or gradient is a measure of the steepness of a line. It is the ratio of its rise to the run. Take note that the line is said to be a rising line if the slope is positive, while a line with a negative slope is called a falling line. A line can also be horizontal or vertical. Any horizontal line has a zero slope, and any vertical line has an undefined slope. What is a y-intercept? Great! The y-intercept is the point where a line crosses the y-axis of a graph.
Now let's try to identify the slope and y-intercept form of each equation. Let's say we have y equals 5x minus 7. What is the slope of the equation? Fantastic! This equation has a slope of 5, which means it is a rising line because it is a positive number, while the y-intercept of this equation is negative 7. Now, let's have y equals x plus 9. What is the slope of this equation? Very good. If x appears by itself, it's the same thing as x having a coefficient of 1. Therefore, this equation has a slope of 1, which means it is a rising line because it is a positive number, while the y-intercept of this equation is 9. How about y equals negative 6x minus 11? What is the slope of this equation? That's right. This equation has a slope of negative 6, which means it is a falling line because it is a negative number, while the y-intercept of this equation is negative 11. Now, let's start solving these equations using the slope-intercept form. Let's go! Given the equation 2x minus 3y minus 12 equals 0, find the slope and y-intercept using the slope-intercept form.
Let's use the slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b. This will give us the slope of the line, which is 2/3, a positive number, so this means it is a rising line, while the y-intercept of this equation is -4. Let's have another example.
Given the equation 4x plus 5y minus 20 equals 0, find the slope and the y-intercept using the slope-intercept form.
Using the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, this will give us the slope of the line, which is -4/5. This time, the slope is a negative number, so this means it is a falling line, while the y-intercept of this equation is 4.
You did great, students! How about this? Suppose you are given 2 points of a line. Do you know that you can still find the slope given these points? Let me show you how.
Remember that the slope is the ratio of its rise to the run. Let m be the slope, then, given 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, note how the rise of slope is given by the difference in the y values of the 2 points, and the run is given by the difference in the x values. Let's try this example. Use the slope formula and substitute the two given points, -3, 3, and 3, -1, for x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, then simplify. Awesome! The slope of the line, or m, is -2/3. And since it is a negative number, so this means that the graph is a falling line. Now, let's find the y-intercept. This can be done by substituting the slope and the coordinates of a point 3, -3 on the line in the slope-intercept formula and then solve for b. Good job! The y-intercept, or b, is 1. How about 2, 0, and 0, 3? Good job! The slope of the line is -3/2. And since it is a negative number, this means that this is a falling line. Let's solve for the y-intercept, or b, by substituting the slope and the coordinates of a point 2, 0, like what we did in the previous example. Very good! The y-intercept, or b, is 3.
You did great! But wait, students, there's more. Do you think we can find the slope of a line using its graph this time? Yes, that's right. We can find the slope of a line given its equation, 2 points, as well as its graph. Excited to know how? Let's discuss.
To find the slope of a line, locate 2 points on the graph, choosing points whose coordinates are integers. We will use 0, -4, and 2, 2. Then, we will use the rise over run formula to find the slope of the line. The slope of the line is 3, a positive number. So this means it is a rising line. While if the portion of the graph that is in view includes the y-axis, then the y-intercept is very easy to spot. You just see where it crosses the y-axis. Here, the line crosses the y-axis at 0, -4. So, the y-intercept is -4. The slope of the line is -1/2. A negative number, so this means it is a falling line. While the line here crosses the y-axis at 0, -3, so the y-intercept is -3.
That was fantastic, students! Now let's go back to our 2 questions earlier. The slope-intercept form tells us that the equation of a line with y-intercept 0b and with slope m can be written as y equals mx plus b. We can find the slope and y-intercept of a line given its equation, 2 points, and its graph. You did great! I hope you learned a lot about linear equations today. If you did, click thumbs up and share this video to help students like you to count, solve, and enjoy math. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Again, this is Teacher Tin, and see you on our next Numberful Wednesday.